So let's get into it. Old God news. What's the news? It's 5th Old God news. We've been talking about this for a little bit now, and it seems to be coming back up every once in a while. We see the news coming up again, and that's the news of a 5th Old God. Yeah, we know how we feel about the old gods in general. And a 5th one, I mean, why not? Bring it in. Patch 7.0.2, an annotated version of the old lore book, reminds us of the 5th Old God. I see Old God lore coming in here. We saw a little bit of Old God lore early in the expansion. Remember when we were doing the whole Chromie quest line? We went back and Nazoth saw us and all this shit happened. Well, so we know there's going to be some Old God involvement here, and we already know there was plenty of Old God involvement when it came to Deathwing. So why not bring in some more of it? Yeah, a being who has been presented in many in-game books and versions of the game, including the version that was added to the game around the same time as Chronicles Volume 2 came out, and yet it strangely was absent in the Chronicles series. We've already reported the old gods have been ordering Azeroth. Oh shit, Tundra Freeze, thank you for coming and kicking off that hype train. Damn. My Australians in the morning, let me tell you, it doesn't get better than them. Thank you. Look at those helicopters flying high. Thank you for the 100 bits, Tundra. Thank you for kicking off that hype train. A new updated version of the classic book, The Old Gods and the Ordering of Azeroth. The original book is about early Titan lore, explaining how they came to discover Azeroth and only to realize that it had been infected with the Old Gods. Now, we know the stories of the Titans and the Old Gods. We've been dealing with this for quite a while. Basically, it comes down to Chronicles Volume 1 that only mentioned Yas-Shiraj, who was killed by the Titans. He was the one who was ripped out, created the little, the whirlpool in the center of the world and all that, almost killed Azeroth herself. So then the Titans decided, well, we're just going to imprison the old gods. That included Nazoth, Cthulhu, and Yogg-Saron. So that gave us, what was it? 4 old gods in total. There was no mention at that time of a 5th old god being encountered or imprisoned, making it easy to assume that the lore had just, typical WoW lore, retconned that shit. Hey Sam, just out at dinner. I'll be home soon. Sounds good, Tundra. Sounds good. Not a problem. Of course, one aspect of Chronicles is that the books are written from the perspective...
Another death knight.
A man... What is this? A man... Hero. A man named Hero? Yeah. A man named Hero. Thank you so much for that sub, man. Bringing in the Prime sub 2 months in a row. Holy shit. You guys have been coming in hard with the subs this morning. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. A lot. Thanks. 2 months in a row now. Death Knight of our Scourge. Yeah, so remember that the lore of the old gods is told from the perspective of the Titans. So they could have easily been lying to us about this 5th old god that they failed to kill / failed to imprison. And they just don't want us to be worried about it. So they didn't tell us about it. And that's an easy way to say, well, it wasn't ever retconned. It was kind of just not told to us. The notes in this annotated version of the book reinforce this theme. The writer, presumably Neltharion, clearly questions the Titans and their versions of the events. It is possible that a 5th old god is referring to Gahun. I don't think so. I don't think the 5th old god is Gahun. While not an original old god, Gahun has been referred to as an old god in name. It was accidentally created by the Titans. Yeah, we know that. That's why I don't think it's the 5th old god. That was created by the Titans themselves. Either way, Gahun is listed as powerful old gods like Yogg-Saron. It is easy to understand why the Titans would want to downplay the story of this particular old god. Either way, once again, we find ourselves asking the question about the truth of the Titans' accounts. If the omission of a 5th old god in Chronicles was deliberate, we must assume it was. It raises questions as to why. Yeah, why wouldn't they tell us about this 5th old god? To me, maybe they failed to imprison this 5th powerful old god. Maybe they escaped. Maybe this 5th old god is the worst of them all, and they just don't want us to be worried about it. And they're ashamed of the fact that they haven't been able to get this 5th old god. Don't forget about, what's the dagger's name? Zalatesh. That could be what they're talking about, too. That Zalatesh is just roaming around right now. We have no idea what's going on. Remember, she went to her Void Elf form and disappeared through the portal. We haven't seen her since. So that could be the 5th old god we're talking about here. Either way, I like this old god lore. I love to see it. And why not? A 5th one. Bring it on. Bring it on. Got to start off the week right. That's right. Yeah, the hype train is a good way to start it off. Thank you again so much, guys, for that.